Hello and welcome to Mad Owl Goes Racing, and today we're back in Automobilista 2 having a look at the latest beta build, and the latest beta is version 0.8.2.0, and let's have a look at the change log. Right, content. Added Snetterton 100 layout, which is the super short version of Snetterton. I don't think there's a map, there's not, so the ultra short bit is basically this internal little loop here. If you can follow my mouse button, or mouse pointer. So it's basically just the bit on the inside. No pits, no paddock, so who knows how many people will be able to drive in it or anything else, but it's a fun little circuit for very slow, quite good for karts, and the usual, just seeing how fast you can get around it. They added a Velocittá CD layout, CD being Club Day, if I can find the right thing. And again, there's no track map, but I was trying to work out from here where it went. It sort of goes up here and then somehow cuts out most of this bit. I think it must go up to there and then cuts across there, but at some point they'll add a track map and some more information, because it isn't 3.3. We'll try it in a little while. And last but by no means least, and you might have spotted it because I already had it on, the Interlagos outer ring. Now I believe actually most of the outer ring is still there. It's more the bit around here that's likely to not be here at the moment, and this bit over in this corner, but I'm pretty sure most of it is, because it's all built up on big high walls as it goes round, and you can, if you're on the infield of the newer circuit and look up, you'll see all these big walls. That's where the other part of the track is, so quite interesting. Just make sure I haven't managed to make my camera go out of focus again. I was all blurry a minute ago. General further updates to rain spray, longer life, draw distance, smaller from front wheels. So again, they're making it harder and harder for you to see when it's wet. You'll enjoy that. Reduced threshold for track limit penalties, still subject to further tuning. It's, presumably the chances of getting track limit penalties are being reduced because they can be a little bit over the top. We want to be racing, we don't want to be getting penalised for this, that or the other. What's he up to? Go away. Thank you. UI and HUD implemented initial version of the in-game photo mode. I'm assuming that must be during the replays, because it's not in the showroom bit at the moment. So if I remember to press the replay and have a look, we'll have a look. If I don't, we won't. Don't rely on me for anything. Added back random weather option. I'm assuming that's just the same random weather option as was in Project Cars 2 for now. Don't forget, everything can change. Added vehicle statistics to track loading screen. We'll have a look in a minute. Updated car class colour definitions and added short class name icons. Okay. Not sure quite what that is or where that is, but they've done it. Multiplayer browser. Player count corrected to sort numerically instead of alphabetically. Fixed incorrect. And the sentence just finishes. Lobby screen. Fixed activation of invite button. Added class and vehicle name to driver table column headings. Fixed private password icon showing for all servers. Yeah, it had the little padlock, and it didn't matter what it was. It had the little padlock, so you couldn't actually tell if it was a private or a public server without just clicking on it and seeing whether or not you could get in, which is slightly annoying, but fixed, hopefully. Removed redundant session time acceleration button from multiplayer monitor screen. because you shouldn't be able to accelerate the time. Maybe you should have a skip button for the host, but you certainly shouldn't have a time acceleration. It should just basically, that's it, finish. Physics. Right, corrected error in fast damper rates, incorrectly applying to cars without two-stage damping, resulting in overall incorrect or altogether broken dampers in some cases. I'll read a bit more about that in a minute. Updated semi-slick treads on various Caterhams for more accurate performance on a wet track. I'd have to try it, but it might mean it gets more difficult to drive them in the wet, or it might be easier to drive them in the wet. We'll find out in the future. Adjusted carcass load stiffness for Formula V, Copa Fuchsia, Formula Uno, Copa Truck, Formula Classic, Formula Trainer, F3 and P4 tyres. They may have made them a little bit stiffer. They might have made them a little bit softer. From what I felt so far, I'm just trying to think what I've driven that might have that. I think I did the Uno, and that did feel felt a little bit more precise, maybe. So maybe they've stiffened them a bit. Removed excessive rolling resistance from wet tarmac and concrete AI and player. Basically, Project Cars 2, I think they were trying to reduce lap times in the wet by increasing extra additional rolling resistance when it got wet, so you'd end up in a low power car. You couldn't even get it in top gear in the wet because basically it just ran out of grunt because it was trying to push against so much rolling resistance, which I understand why they did it, but it's trying to get the wet tyres to be so they feel right and have the right amount of grip without suddenly feeling like you're ice skating is quite a challenge. Hopefully Risa have managed to break that particular taboo and sort out so the wet tyres feel good. So far reports I've seen say they still feel good, but you don't end up with I'm running through bloody treacle when you're trying to drive in the wet. Further revised MRX Aero suspension rates and default setup. Adjusted ideal temperature ranges in several compounds, correcting sizable errors in P4 Formula Classic Gen 1 tyres. Yeah, some of them they were taking forever and a day to warm up, or you get them so they look like they were warm but they still didn't feel like they got any better. So hopefully that's feeling better. I have had a quick thrash in a Formula Classic Gen 1 and it did feel a lot better. So fixed wrong tread width on Formula V front tyre. I don't know if they've gone wider or narrower, but we'll soon find out because it'll either go even more understeer or maybe slightly less. Hopefully they've made them a little bit wider so there's a little bit less understeer on the front, because they were a little bit I've turned oh you're gonna turn. Updated car body, car wheel, walls, Armco physics properties. On talking about physics, don't panic about the use of physics. It's not one of those it has to use your GPU, it's fixed to use your CPU, so there's going to be no advantage to people using NVIDIA over AMD GPUs because your CPU will be doing all of the physics stuff, and the physics is all about collisions, nothing else. It's got nothing to do with how the car's handled. It's just about collision detection, and it runs at 50 Hertz unless they've upped it, so it's not overly stressful for your machine, and it should be the same no matter what GPU you've got. Updated rental cart physics and narrower track and rear tyres. Whether that's narrow track and rear tyres, it just says narrow track, comma, rear tyres. So whether it's narrow track and they change the rear tyres in some way. AI, again another biggie. Implemented new AI aggression logic. And I'll chat about that a bit more in a second. Fixed AI suspension rate issue that could cause AI cars to vibrate violently. Can't say I've noticed any vibrating violently, but they do some weird things occasionally. Slightly increased AI smoothness when moving laterally, both calm and urgent. And AI simplified tyre peak slip angle, combining it with slightly more natural changes of direction. They were a little bit darty at times. What would happen is it would say and then and you're thinking, just calm down. Mind you, I've seen people in multiplayer driving exactly the same, so hopefully with a little bit less dartiness it should make it easier for you to predict what the hell they're doing as well, because there's nothing worse than starting to come up behind something that suddenly darts out of the way or darts into the way and thinking, oh, I wish you'd just slow down a bit. Tracks, Interlagos Historic Complete Art Pass. I haven't actually had a look at the Interlagos Historic, but we will have a look around the outer in a minute. Did notice one or two interesting oddities on that one, which hopefully aren't replicated in both. If they are, I'll report them, obviously. Incremental Art Pass to Alton Park and Spielberg. Updated night lights and fixed flags for Brands Hatch, Imola and Joenia. Added period accurate night lighting to historic tracks. I'm not quite sure what period accurate means, whether it just means they're bloody dim so you can't see where you're going. I don't know. I'll have to have a look, but they've been updated. Updated Kansai trackside cameras, so presumably they're pointing more at the cars rather than at the sky or anything else. Vehicles. Bit of a list here. Copa Uno added missing lower lods. Again, that'll be a beam me up Scotty, where's my car disappeared to. Arc Camaro full field livery update. I've only looked at the one. But, Formula Classic fixed needle vertex AO. Mirror material on lods of G1M1, added rear light to G1M2, G2M3, fixed gear shift lever animations for gear G3M3, updated wet and inter tyre textures for Formula Classics and Formula V12. Yep, because occasionally you'll find that things didn't quite look like they should do, because the physics for your tyre don't have to match what it looks like at all, obviously. Caterham's fixed carbon material. Rocco 001 fixed gear stick animation. I don't know if anybody noticed when we were driving it. Were we driving it the other day? Yeah, I think we drove it. As you changed up, there was the sort of top of a gear lever appeared just above your hand. Very strange. Sprint race added windscreen reflection, corrected drift gear stick animation or gear shift animation. I'm not sure what drift gear shift animation is, but it says paddles instead of sequential. Okay. AJR added Tabaro number 5 2020 Chevy V8 livery, added chrome parts to V. Okay, that sentence just finished with that. So, Formula Reza fixed duplicated livery. Formula V12 added new community skins. Formula Ultimate updated liveries for Risa, Milano and Groove teams. Logos and materials. Right. As explained in this topic, there's a link here. I'm just reading. This build features some major physics and AI improvements. It is recommended to reset your setups and AI aggression setting. On the AI side, the AI aggression system's been completely revamped, changing the way the AI evaluates passing opportunities and how that blends with the AI aggression setting. 50 to 70% is a good starting point, with 100% almost sure to result in at least some AI to AI crashing and the occasional pileup. Multiplayer perfection, eh? The AI performance range has also been adjusted and are overall a bit slower than before, because before AI aggression could also influence how fast the cars went. So you may want to increase your AI strength to get similar performance to the previous versions. AI calibration to these new parameters is still ongoing, so you may expect some inconsistency at first. On the physics side, on top of the usual revisions, fixes and fine-tuning, the excessive wet weather rolling resistance is now completely gone for both player and AI. It will no longer feel like you're driving through mud and makes wet weather driving considerably more dynamic. Yeah, so if you've slowed the cars down a lot, you end up with basically everywhere you were slower. So you just, when you get to a corner, you don't have to think quite so much about, oh, I've got to brake a bit earlier, and because you're just going so damn slow. Biggest change, however, is the addressing of the error that was causing fast dampers not to be disabled in cars that didn't have suspensions with two-stage damping, which, according to this, is pretty much all cars in the game except the Formula V10, Formula Racer, Formula Ultimate and Super V8. This effectively meant dampers would not work right at certain speeds or were broken altogether. Fixing this has gone a long way to rectifying some of the handling anomalies. Yeah, he's written something that looks like a combination of anomalies and abnormalities, so I was just reading that and going, that's not what it says, I just read something completely different. Anomalies reported since beta began. While not all will have substantial handling differences, pretty much every car is worth revisiting with this update. Reports and discussions on each development front should continue, blah 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 blah. Basically, when I was waffling the other week, I was talking about dampers and saying how even if you've got what appears to be a single speed damper, it can actually be more than one speed. I'd forgotten that I was probably talking about more modern damping systems with what are known as shim stacks in them, which is basically a bunch of different size washers, and they can control the different rates to give you high, medium, low speed damping that's different rates. So it's much more like having a more modern, just a non-adjustable version. Older style will be one or two tubes with like a piston in it and some holes. And basically, as you press down, it squeezes the oil from the inner to the outer tube as a twin tube. And then as you go the other way, it sort of has to squeeze past the edges of the piston as the things happen, depending upon what sort you got. So yeah, there are single speed as well as multi-speed. So right, let's have a look at the Interlagos historic oval. Now, this is one of those circuits I've always found fascinating. If you look at Interlagos, you can still see around the outside of the track where those big walls are, where the track goes around the top, and it's I have to be a bit careful coming out of there. The garage is very small, so I'm suspecting you won't be able to use a truck in it. Still having trouble with my paddles. So if you were on the new circuit, you'd be turning left very sharply here somewhere, or maybe even a little bit further back. But like a lot, it's almost like an oval, but with 6 or 7 corners. What, another gear? I haven't got one. So I know a lot of people don't like ovals, and there's no skill involved in just turning left, but this is quite technical without appearing to be particularly technical. You got all the corners are completely different, so you got from very very fine corner like that to the one back there which is very tight. This one, which is actually a bit of a blind approach. You probably won't want to go around this in something with an enormous amount of downforce, because other than seeing just how bloody fast it can go around it, it'll be a bit pointless. If you notice on the right there was a lot of very clever people were just basically standing in mid-air. I don't know if they're meant to be on a banking or a grandstand or something, but again, this first two corners are completely different radii, or radiuses. But I think in a slower car, it's a massively wide piece of track, so you'll be able to have lots and lots of nice drafting battles. I think this will be great for that. I did try it in a one of the Formula Vintage cars, and basically understeered straight off the side of the circuit. I hadn't got enough heat in the front tyres, and just like I thought, I'll try something a little bit slower, so you can have a look around. I don't know whether they're going to adjust the amount of people on the bank and on the infield, because there are lots and lots of people there, but I don't think you get much of a view from where they are. I assume they're still the same crowd from the full historic circuit. So it's an interesting circuit in as much as I think you'll have some real fun races around here, and it's going to be all about drafting and then trying not to kill each other on the corners, especially the sharper two. It's an interesting addition. Now we'll go and have a look at the Velocittá CD course as well. I didn't notice the loading screen, which was a bit silly of me, and I don't think this has got a proper loading screen yet, so like I said, it's got the wrong track map. Oh, it has. So we've got maybe a bit more data, but the car stats got a really itchy nose. Don't know why. Probably been sticking it in other people's business. No, don't say that. Right, left or right? I think he waved us right, didn't he? Like I said, this is, even in this, is only a 1 minute lap, so quite a short circuit. Whoop. Don't do that. I'm sure we're going the other way to some of the other tracks. And I just turned the wrong way. I'm on the right circuit here. I think I managed to choose the wrong track. Oh, I've chosen the wrong track. Yes, I have. Ha! What a plonker. Let's try that again. Should be in that one. Right. That's why I was confused. It's got a slightly white background. Cover your eyes, it'll burn. Right, let's try again. This time on the right circuit. That's why I went the wrong way. I was on the wrong circuit. Better. Whoop. There's a track here somewhere. Right. As you can see, that's quite short, so short but interestingly technical. You gotta love these really short wheelbase cars. It feels so nicely edgy. And that corner's a lot tighter than I thought. That corner's an absolute arse because you can't actually see where it is. I may have actually gone over the grass instead of over the track there. I said it's about a minute, or maybe less. Just did one last lap because I'm actually quite enjoying this. This car's a laugh and a half. It's not so much fun on really big open tracks, but it's really nice around here, and I've invalidated my lap time. Obviously the Arc is an Aussie racing car, but it's very similar to a couple of other series that are run in the UK and the US. In the UK it's the Legend series, and they run on all sorts of little dinky tracks because they're small cars, you can run them on small tracks. So that's just a quick rundown and a quick look at a couple of the circuits. Everything, it's feeling absolutely lovely. The tyre feel is improving just about every time I start the game up. So that's beta build 0.8.2.0, which most, if not all of, should be appearing, or may have already appeared by now, I don't know yet, in a build near you zone in early access. So for now, from me, stay safe, keep racing, and keep indoors. If you want to go for a long drive, get on your virtual wheel, do it there. There's loads of big long tracks you can go driving around. And I will see you soon. Enjoy your racing. Goodbye. Having just shut the program down, I immediately got another update, and so there's a minor hotfix and corrects F301 issue, which I'll have to look back and find out what the F301 issue was, but some more AI tuning, slightly Formula Classic tyre adjustment, and complementary track updates. So, not exactly particularly specific, but I will go back and have to have a look at the full release notes. This should roll into release later this evening, so hopefully, assuming everything goes right. Apparently there's another one going, the F301 tyres are now vibrating badly, so there might be another update to the update in a minute. But I did have a thought. Oh, we now got a track map. That's quite useful. I'm going to do one lap round here. And the reason I'm going to do one lap round here is because I did promise that I would try, and we have a map behind as well. So you literally turn your back for 2 seconds and things change. So what I'm going to do is just drive out here, not worrying too much about anything clever. This really is a nice combo. I think overtaking around here will be a bit of a pain in the bum, but let's see if I can get around here without hitting the grass. Yay, just about. This is really nasty though, because it's literally utterly blind and I can't even see where the road is. And that is quite tight as well. Look. Right, now if we go here, we now have a photo button. Now I don't know if the replay includes a photo mode or not. Oh, apparently it does. Screaming engines. That's just such a cute looking car, isn't it? I mean, come on. How could you not love that as a car? Because they're, what are they, 4/5 or 2/3 scale? So, I think the original Legends was based on the Ford Popular body. Oh, right. So, basically we do have... Oh, I've taken a picture. Didn't mean to take a picture, but I've taken a picture. So... right mouse moves you around that way. Just trying to work out what the... Yep, that's switch camera at the moment. So my favourite is usually the drone camera. Right, now it's the... Yeah, basically it's looks very much like it's... Still out of distance. Why can't I get the damn thing in focus? Focus! Unless it's just my eyes. Come on. Is it? Do it a bokeh? Come on. Why won't it go to anything other than that? I'm shit at taking photographs. But you got all your usual. I would recommend, if you've got one, using a Xbox controller if you happen to be like me and happen to have one connected up, because it's so much easier to just do this, you know. Ooh. And then that's, I mean, compared with trying to do it via a bloody mouse, is just a cinch. So if you've got one and it's connected, use it. So that's pretty much straightforward taking out of Project Cars 2 by the looks of it, with them obviously changed the UI to match the rest of the UI, but again, the photo mode in Project Cars 2 worked well, so why change it? I do get annoyed at people who just want to keep reinventing the wheel. It's round, it works, leave it alone. So, that's a quick look at the map. Map. Brain death. Quick look at the photo mode. It would be nice if hitting B on the button, and obviously you've got photo mode here, so you can do exactly the same whilst in a race. So you could be streaking along, suddenly go, oh, that looks like it might be interesting, and stop the action. Just don't bother in multiplayer, because it won't work for a start. I would assume there is no camera button in the pause menu in multiplayer. It would seem a little bit pointless. Hang on, folks, can you all stop whilst I take a picture? Obviously not, no. So, that was the update to the update. And I'll have to remember to append this on the end of the other bit. So, for now, from me, stay safe, enjoy your racing, make sure you do plenty of it, don't go out, don't drive, don't be a wanker, you heard. And I'll see you soon. Goodbye.